How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. I am raring to go.
Okay. I'm looking forward to the show tonight.
Yeah, it should be cool. I've played there once before, about 2 years ago, but it'd be good to revisit it and revisit the vibe and the energy of it.
What are your memories of that show?
I just remember being out. I remember being outside and having a really welcoming audience. And this whole festival is so well run and so everyone is so helpful. So I really had a great experience.
Well, we have a lot to talk about. You have an album coming up, but I'd like to start in the beginning. Do you remember what the first album was that you bought?
I think the first album I bought was probably First Impressions of the Earth by The Strokes,
Okay.
which is a bit of an unusual choice, but I was really into like guitar bands at that time, and I was sort of having my sort of alternative rock phase. So yeah, that was it really, and I loved it. I loved it. I loved the all the kind of the stuff and the art on the inside of the sleeve as well. It was really cool.
Do you know what brought about this phase?
I guess I've always been someone who likes to do something that's different, and I guess maybe I'm a bit contrary, but my voice has always been soulful, but I've always wanted to seek out music that was different from where my voice came from, and I feel that was my first exploration of that, was doing something that had nothing to do with soul, you know.
Right. So you were singing by that point?
Yeah, always singing.
What started it? Why did you sing?
I think I sung as a mode of self-expression. I feel like singing was sort of my way of channeling stuff that I couldn't necessarily express otherwise. Whether that was happiness, sadness, anger. It was there to. It was a way to access feelings and also to let them go.
And has this approach? I suppose it's still the same, right?
Not so much now, because I'm a much more content person now than I was at the time. I feel like now music is my way of showing other people the journey that I've taken, and showing them how those experiences have made me stronger as a human being, and how they can make other people stronger. At the time, I needed the music to make me feel stronger,
Right.
but now it's sort of like passing on the baton.
And so if we keep that in mind, what was one of the first songs that you were really proud of, that you thought, well,
Well, proud of writing.
yeah, something of yourself that you thought, well, just what you mentioned, expressing what you...
Yeah, I guess like for me, like one of the songs that I'm most proud of writing is Perfect Ruin, which I wrote while I was still at a music college about 2 or 3 years ago, and it was the first time it was the easiest song I've written, because it was the one that was the easiest to express. It didn't feel like it took me too much emotional upheaval, or like it was took too much thought. It was just really, really easy. And I was just really proud that something that flowed so easily from me was also something that I also felt really proud of as a piece of music, and I felt like it worked, and when I played it to people were moved by it, and that was, that's the goal, that's always the aim.
What started that song off? Where did the...
The way that song was written was through improvisation, and I improvised I sung a bunch of vocal lines straight into the track that we'd already started to make, and there were as I was going, I started to choose words like off the cuff, kind of off the top of my head, and the words sort of created the sentiment, which then created the platform for me to write the rest of the lyrics.
What was this sentiment for you?
I think it's just about, the sentiment is it's about being overwhelmed. It's about being overwhelmed by love, good and bad, and that being, a wonderful and terrifying thing at the same time. And that's, I like that. I like that kind of conflict of interest.
Well, you mentioned this conflict, and well, we're kind of fast forwarding through stuff, but that's okay.
Okay.
Because your album is called Love Plus War, so that has those two sides on it. So what started off that idea in your mind to
I feel Love and War is me, and I feel like Love and War is most of us. You know, we are built up of parts that clash against each other, and we are made up of light and dark. And without one and all of the other, we wouldn't be balanced, and we wouldn't be able to have perspective about what is good and what is bad, and what feels right and what feels wrong. And so, for me, it was natural to call it the album that, just because I feel like those sides are so much part of who I am as a human being. And so the sentiment from which, the sentiment of kind of humanity from which most of the songs came, sort of preceded the title itself. It was like, when I came around to naming it, it just turned out that one of the songs was called Love and War, and that it's perfectly described everything that I had been trying to say over the last, 2 or 3 years, and that it felt perfect.
and this idea of this dichotomy or this conflict between light and dark.
Yeah.
Is this something you had to grow into, in a sense where you had to learn, if things don't go the way you want, it will go better?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like, but I don't even think that's the case. I don't subscribe to fate. Okay. I don't, as a principle.
Right.
I do believe in making my own luck and making my own sort of like journey, but I feel like I believe very much in being comfortable with your full spectrum of emotions, and being comfortable with the fact that sometimes stuff is going to be really annoying or bad, and other times it will be amazing. But I really believe in respecting that is all just part of the journey, and finding comfort in that, and not being impatient about it. I think that's really important to all of us.
Was there a point maybe that you realized this, or is this something that grew gradually?
I think that grew gradually. Okay. I feel like as I've matured over time, and it's taken me a while, I've sort of learned to just kind of just say to myself, Kwabs, man, just be cool. It's cool, stuff happens, and stuff goes wrong and stuff gets better. It's just all a part of a continuum.
And then what role does writing about it play then for you? Does it help?
I don't think it helps me anymore. Like I said, I feel like it's there as a means of, it's my way of expressing myself, which is pleasant for me, but I think it's more helpful to other people, hopefully. I feel that's what music is for, is to kind of reach people.
Have you had reactions from people already, something that they told you?
Yeah, I guess like I get a lot of people kind of telling me that they feel like that a song has really affected them or moved them, or that it's helped them through like a tough point in their lives, and that always feels really good. That feels like what it's meant to be there for.
Is this something you had with music as well for yourself, that certain songs or certain albums kind of helped you through tough?
Yeah, I guess music has always been there for me. Are there certain songs which I particularly feel strongly about? Yes. Usually the slower ones. I like sad music. I really do. Like, I can't lie. My music isn't all sad. A lot of it is very kind of.
Why do you like sad music?
Because I feel like sad music allows me to access stuff that I don't feel maybe so comfortable accessing with, with friends or family. It's a way of creating a personal confessional space,
right,
where you can listen to the music and you can admit to yourself how you feel about stuff, stuff that is getting you down or making you, or doesn't feel quite right, and then you come out of that feeling like you've done some good, because I feel like inside you can sort of like store up all sorts of negativities, and I like to be able to exercise those.
Well, some of these songs on the record are quite personal, so were they then tough to write? Some of them?
They weren't tough to write, actually. I think that I'm naturally quite an emotive person, And like I say, for me, like I've experienced a lot of emotions in my life, but I feel quite settled with those now. And for me, it's been really actually quite easy to pass those messages on to other people.
So it's not like when you sing the song, you revisit the moment or that particular emotion.
Pardon?
When you perform the song live, do you then revisit the song or the emotion that was attached to it?
I feel like the emotions that the song contain are often so particular that they're hard to tap into at the time of your performing. It's almost distracting to do that.
Okay.
But sometimes they flood in, or they don't. It depends on what the moment's like, or the energy of the audience is like. If you feel like a real vibe from them, then sometimes that can take you back to the space you were in when you wrote it.
Finally, then, is there one song on the record that kind of sticks out for you that has a bit more weight for you?
Pardon? Sorry?
Is there a song that sticks out for you on the record, or that has just a little bit more weight for you?
I guess I always go back to Perfect Ruin. I feel like that is a song that represents me the best so far. And I feel really lucky to have written it, because I don't feel like you stumble across a song that feels that personal to you every day. But I feel like it will last me my entire career. It's something that represents me.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Cheers.